Welcome, everybody, to another episode of This, That, and the Other. I'm your host, Magic, and we are joined today by our two panelists, Jason Freeman and mfnmyers, also known as Michael. So to the both of you, welcome, gentlemen. Hope everybody's doing well.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Coach.
And Jason, you said you're out in California. What else do we need to know about you as far as what you do, married life, kids, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. I'm in the Bay Area. I've been here for a long time now, so I've planted my roots here. I'm one of the owners of a small software company. We make energy management software. So that's what I do during the day. Been married for 12 years now. I have 2 kids, 3 dogs. Pretty good life out here in quarantine.
Yeah, in quarantine. It's the name of a new city, I hear.
Yeah.
Michael, what about yourself? You married? Whereabouts you live? I can only guess.
So I don't live in Haddonfield. No, I'm in Sacramento, so I'm California too.
Oh, okay.
Been married 17 years. We have 2 daughters, freshman and a 7th grader. I've coached a lot of sports. Currently, I'm coaching a competitive soccer team that my younger plays on. I am a teacher. This year in September will be my 30th year, so I've done it for a long time. And I work usually 4th or 5th graders, it depends, but I've taught anywhere from ages 5 to 18. So I've kind of gone from kindergarten all the way up to seniors in high school. So, yeah, not a lot going on here. I've been with What If Sports for quite a while. I enjoy it, and I play several different versions on that thing, not just college football.
Well, speaking of which, it shows that between the two of you guys, I think y'all have won a few too many games. Y'all need to stop winning. Matter of fact, it looks like Jason, June 2nd was your anniversary, 17 years on Gridiron Dynasty. Michael, yours is coming up June 9th. That'll be 13 years for you.
Really? I didn't know it was that long. Well, good for you,
13
Jason.
years. And Jason has over 3,000 wins with an 859 winning percentage, 111 conference championships, 45 national championships, Jason. Wow. And this is just ugly. Okay. I don't know if I can count that high. Looks like mfnmyers has over almost 13,000 wins, an 891 winning percentage, 608 conference championships, and a very robust 148 national titles. Man, if somebody is not following whatever advice you guys give here tonight, they're morons. Let me tell you, with that record, that setup, phenomenal work, guys.
There's plenty of losses in there too.
Well, with an 891 winning percentage, that's only, what does that equate to? Like 1 out of every 10? Still impressive. Jason,
mine's been going down lately, but thanks anyways.
What about you've got one team right now? I believe is it Montana State that you're managing or you're coaching? Is
That's
Montana
right.
a location target of you, or is that just a team you picked up for whatever reason?
So that's the Wilkinson, my team. For the last few years, I've only had maybe 1 or 2 teams. So I like to focus on them and make sure that I can, kind of maximize what I can get out of them. And I was doing well in my previous team, which was at Texas. And then a few conference mates jumped to D1 AA for the fun of it. And by the time I got around to deciding, hey, you know what, I'd rather join a full conference of humans than continue, a dynasty at Texas. I'd won a couple national championships, so I'd already accomplished whatever I wanted to. So I jumped to what I wanted to play was probably the hardest location that I could find. And that was Montana State, out in the middle of nowhere. Typically I have I don't know, maybe 10 recruits in my 360, and all 10 of them are awful. So it's been an incredible challenge so far. In fact, I got crushed today in the first round of the playoffs. At least I made the playoffs, which was nice, but got absolutely destroyed. It's pretty tough to get the talent to compete with some of the big boys without any local recruits at all. But it's a good challenge. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. It's a really fun conference. So full conference. Been a lot of people that have moved to D1 AA, and it's really exciting. That's what I like. I like having competition and people active and a lot of people there. That's what makes it fun for me.
Now, Michael, do you have a favorite school?
Well, I get asked quite a bit on there about St. Olaf, and I've never even been to the campus. In fact, when I took the team, I don't even think I knew where it was. I was just looking for a Catholic school, actually, or a parochial school, just because I went to Jesuit high school here in Sacramento, and so I started with one team for quite a while. And believe it or not, I think I started in Wilkerson, and then after a few years, I just added a couple, and then I was just like, well, gosh, I'm gonna try and coach St. Olaf in Division III. So I do have a lot of teams, and sometimes, Jason, when you have more than a few teams, I make mistakes sometimes because keeping up. Literally, it's like a daily job. I enjoy it. There are times where I'm not kidding, like 5 a.m. before I rush off to work, that I'm going in there and, if I have to do a quick recruiting thing or something like that, or switch around a lineup or something. But I will say, out of all the fantasy stuff I do, and that includes, like the ESPN leagues and stuff like that, to me, the what if sports, the college football is the funnest I do. I know there's no money based involved or anything, but I really enjoy it. At times it's not the real thing, but it's fairly close. I think they do a really good job with the engine and stuff like that. Once you get to the playoffs, you basically are all human coaches, because I know there are a lot of sim at all the levels. Even D1, there's a lot of sims. When you get to the playoffs, so you're playing human people. And today I actually had a triple overtime national championship game. I tried to give away, but didn't. But it's very fun. I still enjoy it a lot. The misses could absolutely care less, but for me, it's enjoyable. I don't know. It just gives me something extra. I guess for me, that downtime, when you're done with work and stuff for an hour or so, I enjoy going in there and doing the recruiting and stuff like that. It's a challenge. My goal is to win the title, and if I don't, it's like, okay, what do I need to do to try and get a little better?
Now, as far as Division III, that's where you've played the majority of your games. Have you ventured up in Division II or 1AA or even 1A?
I have not gone up. No, not even at practice games. And for me right now, I have no desire to go all the way up, because I want to make sure it's a playoff format. I don't like that, like when D1, that 2, or I don't know if they go 4 teams now on the what if site, but there's not an actual playoff. So I like that there's 32 teams in the tournament and you kind of play your way up. Now I know they do that in 2 and stuff, but I don't know. I'm at St. Olaf. I enjoy it. I have some goals that I want to do as far as, really as Gridiron Dynasty. I would like to have a team that, I've had a couple teams that, have had good runs, but to have a 5 to 10 year run where we're just dominant is kind of one of my goals. And I've had
Jason, what about you? Do you like
dominating losses lately? But
Jason, do you like the Division I, or do you prefer 1AA? I know right now you're enthralled with 1AA, but if you could just go into a world on your own and face the people that are there without having to worry about getting put in a particular conference, what level do you think you would prefer?
Well,
Did I lose you guys? It looks like it locked up on us here.
I got the number 32 spot in the playoffs after the conference championships, you know, I had to win like the last 2 games to get in. And it was the most fun couple days that I've had that I can even remember in GD. And of course, I got crushed today, but that was fun. You know, it's fun to challenge yourself, in my opinion. That's what I enjoy about the game.
We just had the internet go down here at the studio, so we missed quite a bit of that, Jason. My apologies. That you can blame AT&T. I've been dealing with them for 2 years. We're about ready to can them, but
it was super insightful. You'll have to watch the recording.
I mean, you know, Daryl's in tears.
Spoke in several languages too. No, yeah, I know part of it was Farsi. I couldn't keep up with all of it, but
well, we appreciate you sharing all those secrets while we were off. The secret to the winning strategies, the formulas that no one will ever hear now. Again, I'm so sorry about that, and I've learned my lesson. I'm going to use my hotspot on my phone from now on. That's all I can say about that. Well, let's go ahead and move on. And again, my apologies for that. Daryl, do you have any questions for the guys? They're the panelists tonight. It's your turn to, you're the guest logging in. You can pick their brain. Daryl, you with us?
Yeah, but my audio's cutting in and out.
Oh, okay.
I'm like trying to get everything.
Saying, you're the guest, they're the panelists. Fire away, whatever questions you have for them.
Oh, let's see. Well, I feel partially to blame for Jason's bad season because I kind of picked him at the beginning of the season to win the Big Sky. So you can blame that one on me. I was facing him. That was who I had to face in the challenge with the MEAC, and so I thought, well, he's going to wipe me out, man. So I just figured I'll just take him. And after what he did last season, he had a pretty good showing last season. So I thought, you know, this might be the season he kind of sneaks one in, but things kind of went south for him after my debacle. I still don't know what happened there. My team's been up and down. So, but let's see. Question. I guess everybody just the biggest question would be for Michael is you know, everybody. I guess there's a stigma put on your wins at D3 because, of course, all the coaches that are up high or anything like that. Do you catch a lot of grief from people as far as, you know, site mails or, you know, people talking in the forums as far as, you know, the coaches that are up in the higher levels? Do they give you any grief over, you know, putting asterisks by all these wins that you have, saying it's at D3 against newbies or anything like that? Does that spur you to want to try and move up and prove something to them, or like that? You know, are you pretty much happy where you're at and just, you know, keep the well lubricated machine going?
yeah, believe it or not, almost never have I heard anything negative. You know, I do get asked sometimes. I'll get emails like, "Hey, we're going to fill up a conference, whatever D2 or something. Would you like to join?" But no, and I don't. You know, really, the bottom line is, what if sports really should be fun? I mean, the whole idea of whatever you're doing, if you're enjoying it, whether you're winning or not, if you're enjoying it, it's worth it. And all the different sports that it has. And I love it. And I'm not worried about, you know, what level I am. Obviously, I'm aware that some of the coaches that are having a lot of success, they move up. And I get that. But there are a couple of people that are at D3 or were at D3 and moved up that I know of that are very good. And there is a difference. I know in D3 there are some options that you guys have at higher levels that we don't. So some of the game planning or maneuverability of players and stuff is a little bit different. But I'm happy. I'm not worried about it. Believe me, when we're losing, the St. Ol fans are relentless. I mean, the sisters are writing me and complaining, and, you know, it's just outrageous. So while we're struggling, I don't need anybody on the forum to say it. Believe me, I have, 40, 50,000 emails saying, why don't you get lost and you're a bum and everything else, without the missus saying it around here. So, but no, it's not a big deal to me right now. I'm happy at D3. I'm not worried about, asterisks or any titles or anything. I honestly, I'm trying to get better. And I've really, the last couple months, especially since all the problems have happened and I have more time, I'm trying to learn some things. And I really believe that even as you get better, you have some success, you could still definitely get better. Recruiting, or how you do your depth charts and stuff like that. And I will say, just so I don't forget, just two quick things. Out of all the worlds, Wilkerson's always been my worst. And then the other is the best person on this site for me out of all the sports, and I've played at least like 4 or 5 different, versions of what if sports, is Seabreak. And so it was interesting. I saw the other day that he was voted to the Hall of Fame because he's one guy that I have kept in touch with, that I email quite a bit, that has a lot of times nothing to do with the game, just how he's doing in life and stuff. And I've never met him. I know about his family and stuff. But so to answer the question really well, there are a lot of people on here that I've never met that I think are really cool. Like the guy that lost the triple overtime game today, as soon as the game was over, emailed me and he's like, "Hey, congratulations, good job," and stuff. And I thought that was really neat because it was, he doesn't have to send me anything. So no, the response on What If Sports normally is very, very positive.
Now, Seabreak is actually was one of our guests on the podcast version, season 1 version. So if you look on our YouTube channel where this will be posted, I've actually converted a lot of the audio to quote unquote videos so people can at least listen to them. And he is in one of the episodes, and it'll be titled as Coach Seabreak.
I will definitely go in there and check that out.
Good information.
Just so nothing else, I put a face to him.
Well, that was the podcast, so it's just audio.
Okay. All right.
But, one question I have for you that I'm sure a lot of people have is, has Rose reached out to you from Golden Girls? She's a St. Olaf alum.
Like I said, it's funny. I do get sometimes emails about either St. Olaf, hey, what year did you graduate? Or, Haddonfield, are you from Haddonfield? Stuff like that. I'm like, no, that's a fictitious series from the Halloween movie that I've just used for the teams and stuff. So, no, none of the stuff I do really makes a lot of sense. I just do it for my entertainment.
What, being in Division III, what kind of tidbits of value can you give to some of the new people coming on board that are showing up now recently as far as Division III goes? What advice do you have for them?
Well, I would guess that it's similar to all the levels. So you really need a plan. It doesn't have to be something you're spending hours on, but you need to, like when I go into recruiting, I'm like, I want this amount of players at a position. I'm not going to go and spend, some of the new people, even older people, are spending way too much money on one recruit.
Mm-hmm.
I would say right away, if somebody, because I do get asked sometimes, I'm like, stay out of battles as much as possible. Look at your roster, see what you need, have an idea when you're going in already. Okay, I'm going to redshirt, these 3 positions and stick to it. And as soon as recruiting starts, if you need to get off people, get off them, get on to somebody else right away. But to me, recruiting is at least at D3, it's huge. I don't care what your game plan is. If you don't have the players, you're not winning, and you're certainly not winning the title. So learning how to recruit and not getting in, all these different battles and stuff, or, like I'm just going to keep spending no matter what. It's like, look, a lot of these players are similar. If somebody's on it, or you have a bunch of people, or the person's red, go right away. Look for somebody who's similar that you can afford, and just try and fill out your roster. And then the other one is, don't just add somebody that's average or okay. Like if you're going to get somebody, try and get somebody that is good or very good. I would rather take a sim than some just average player. It's like, look, there's plenty of people there. All the worlds are, have, a lot of openings. So there's plenty of recruits out there. So just be patient, and, you have a whole week, and fill your roster the way you want. Don't just add a couple like, hey, I need 2 players, and just fill them. Because when you really get down to it, especially deeper in the playoffs, the teams that have a lot of depth are the ones that are probably going to win, go the furthest in most cases.
Good stuff. Jason, what about you? You play in the upper levels. What type of advice can you give those people as they move up?
Pretty similar stuff. I mean, I think it all starts with recruiting. Um, you definitely, the very basics are you have to know what formations you're going to run and how you want to build out your roster and make sure it's balanced. In my opinion, is really important. And be successful at recruiting the people you want to recruit. So have a good idea who you want. Don't lose battles. Don't overspend on battles that you win. Sometimes some of the worst battles are ones that you actually win. Um, Although having lost it would be even worse. But, overspending on somebody is maybe not the right choice too. So, recruiting is super important. And I actually spent more time game planning this season than I usually do. I In the past I had gone full seasons without doing any game planning at all, even through the playoffs. So back then I would say it was 95% recruiting. Now since recruiting is a little more difficult, I have to kind of get a little edge with some of the other things, but still it's all about the recruiting and knowing who you want, being able to evaluate those recruits. As Michael said, don't it's okay to walk away from a battle. Again, some of the worst battles are ones that you win. you know Make sure you know who you're battling against, how many open scholarships they have, the locations of the recruits. All those things are super important.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the things that I learned the hard way is understanding those schools that are relatively close to mine and knowing their needs and kind of
Yep.
seeing how their rosters are made up. And, when you see a guy who generally recruits 2 running backs every season and he's got a running back already signed, and then you see him as green on 2 other running backs, wait if you want one of those 2, because chances are he's only going to sign one of them. So patience is, right on top of knowing who's out there, what they need, and proximity wise. And you have to understand too that, and this is the common thing that I hear so many times is he got my recruit. He got my player. He's not your player until he is signed. Bottom line. And me personally, if you can come in on the last minute of the last day and get a player I've been recruiting, hats off to you. You did it. You did it your way. I should have spent more money on him, more effort, I should say. So, it happens. That's not necessarily my style, but yeah, I would say, know who you're recruiting against, do a little homework, and it's not always cut and dry. You have to do some digging. Daryl, you got any questions on that or any input?
Well, no, they pretty much touched all the bases as far as recruiting goes. Like I said, I mean, you're only going to be as good as your players are. So, like I said, the biggest problem everybody runs into is, like I said, they think that the player's theirs as soon as it's green, or if that's who they've got, their eyes set on, they get tunnel vision, and they're just though they're within my 360, so they're mine, and but yeah, it's that's the biggest thing to overcome is thinking that recruit is yours until it actually is. So that's where most of them make their mistakes that I've seen. Shoot, I still make it. Occasionally you get the mentality of well, I got this money and I got this bowl money, or I got this playoff money, so I've got more money than him, and maybe they were a little bit better and haven't had the battles you've had, and you still get stuck. So it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, but I think we've all done it at some point or other.
Yeah. So you've also got to make sure that they earn it, right? So, within the right kind of balancing, okay, you still want to fill out your class, but hey, you got to teach someone a lesson. If they're going to come after your recruit, make them pay for it. So maybe next time that they think twice, but you don't want to ruin your class for that. So.
That's kind of what Tango C. Bear said last show. He said, when he's got LSU, pretty much the entire Gulf Coast is his. You don't enter without fair warning. That's his domain, and you'll pay dearly if you enter. So there's a lot of coaches who apply that philosophy. I know that, when you're out at D2, what is it, Humboldt, how dare somebody come into California? That's pretty much Humboldt's domain out there, and you don't come in there. And
I haven't had any issues with anyone coming into Montana since I've been at Montana.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're afraid of you. They know mighty Montana will hurt you. Man. Michael, what about you as far as the area? I know you recruit for St. Olaf 99.9% of the time, but outside of your immediate area, have you found a particular location that's been very fruitful for you?
Yeah, actually, that's for Daryl. In D3, there's one state in particular that I basically don't recruit from. Well, I'll even share it. It's Pennsylvania, because so many teams are near that area. And I've just learned over time that when I'm in there, almost guarantee you're going to be battling a few people. So even though there are recruits in there and sometimes they're good, I don't even waste my time. And there are 2 or 3 states that I can think of up top of my head that when I go in there, I have almost no battles at all. And they are not near me, but there are just some states that people, for whatever reason, avoid. So anytime I see a recruit there and I'm like, oh man, that's like golden, because I know I don't have to spend that much money. But I will tell you, I am different than a lot of coaches, because I've been asked this before. I have players from all over the country.
Right.
I don't mind going at a distance. I do look at a place like California. I'll give you an example. So Texas, there was a guy from Texas, a lineman today, that I like, because I have 2 recruitings I'm in the middle of right now. It just started. So the first thing I did before I even spent a cent was I went in there. Is there anyone right now in Texas that's, a good coach that's in there? There were no teams from Texas that had a human coach that I thought was pretty good. So I went after that guy. There are some of my leagues or whatever worlds that I'm in that I'm just not going to mess with Texas unless the guy's left alone for a day or 2, and then I'll go in there. But I do really, again, that's all part of the planning. All right, what state can I go into? Like in California, I'm going to have a bunch of battles. And so maybe I'll spend just a little, and if nobody messes with them, maybe I'll be able to stick with the guy, in California, even though I'm way out in Minnesota. But if somebody from California jumps on them, unless it's just a weird thing where I have a ton of money, I'm just not going to bother. But I'm certainly not worried about jumping all over the place, because I have, on my rosters, I guarantee I have a player from every state, at least one from various places. I mean, it's nice if somebody's real close, but that also doesn't mean you're not going to have to battle. You could have somebody 80 whatever miles from you, and you could have 2 or 3 coaches on them, whether they're close or not. So yes, you save money, but if you're smart and you don't, I don't battle a lot, unless, when I know I'm going to win. There are times where I get in there. I'll give you an example. There's a guy today, he's a newer player. He has 6 scholarships. And he's got a decent amount of travel, and we're on the same guy, just us 2. I know for sure there's no way he's going to get that guy, because I have plenty of money still. But I will tell you something I do that I don't have a problem with. There are times where I'll go, especially in a coach that's been around a while. And if we get down to the end where I have a lot of cash, like I have over 10 grand, I'll go in there and tell the guy, say, hey, just so you know, I have a lot of money left, and I'm going to really try and get this guy, so that they're not in there just wasting all their money or trying to battle. Because there are, I know no matter what the other coach does, I'm set. It's usually when I go recruiting on the second day, when we start signing, many times all my guys are ready to go there. And maybe I have one, and if I've got a decent amount of money, I know that in all likelihood they can't meet me if they want to.
Well, gentlemen, I know this has been fun, and I wish we could continue, but unfortunately our meeting time is about to expire. So one of these days I'll determine that it's time to upgrade and we can have more time, but would love to have you guys back on another time if you're available, because I know there's going to be tons of questions that people are wishing that we would have asked that we didn't ask. that we may be able to get into them. But any parting words of wisdom, Jason?
Michael, it's time to move up. Come on, face some tougher competition. You know, you're picking on newbies. Come on up to a level where you've got 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 coaches that know what they're doing. You've learned, you know what you're doing. You can compete with them, and come on up and have some fun with us. That's my parting words.
Michael, any rebuttal?
I'm just afraid I'll go, and the next thing I know, I'll be in the trunk of a car in Montana. The heat, you know, wishing I had a water bottle and a bunch of people whooping and hollering outside. So whether I have a mask on or not, no, that sounds pretty scary to me.
Well, Daryl, thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate having you stop by and visit with us. And again, gentlemen, thank you so much for being our panelists tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
And look forward to doing this again. For those viewers watching, thank you for tuning in to This, That, and the Other. I'm your host, Magic. Come back and join us for the next show.